Hi, my sweet angel babies. Welcome back to the episode of To Be Real. I'm your host, Charm. You can call me Tiara. You can call me Rain. I respond to all three. Today, we're back again for the third time recording the same episode. Love that for me. My camera battery, it's been so weird. My camera battery will die without any warning. Usually it gives me like the little, you have 2 minutes. No warning. And then does not save what I recorded. Insane, madness, I cried, everything. I think the last episode I made, and this is where my trouble started, I recorded this as soon as I finished that one. Deleted. No, not deleted. It was great. I got halfway through. I finished it after work for an hour. All the footage gone. I came home and finished recording it at home. All the footage gone. Took a day off. Next day, did my best, showed up, finished the episode, all the footage gone. And so, what did I learn? Actually, what did I learn from that situation? I think I learned that I was pushing it too hard. I wanted to prove to myself that I could record 2 episodes in a day, which I know I can. Did it make sense time-wise for me to do that? No, because I didn't have enough time to record 2 before my job and it wasn't reasonable, but I think I was just externalizing my power in terms of I have to prove that I'm good enough by recording 2 episodes in a day. What does that prove to anybody? Literally nothing. Great, I'm recording an episode a day. And honestly, after that happened, things went downhill, and I stopped recording an episode a day because I was so butthurt because I would record, deleted. And so right now, I'm just going to choose to believe that was just me still putting too much focus on my external actions instead of being like, hey, let me just follow the flow. And, I've been given this great episode. Let me just keep doing what I've been doing. It's been working well. I have balance in my life. I was not balanced. I went to work. I stayed there for 2 hours before work. I hadn't eaten. I went to work, came out, recorded for another hour, came home, recorded for another hour and a half, still hadn't eaten. Girl. And the same thing happened now that I'm thinking about it. The same thing happened. I slept over at my friend's house, recorded outside of his house. My episode got deleted and I was worrying about that and I forgot that I was supposed to go into work early. Didn't eat breakfast, went to work on an empty stomach and a broken heart because I'd recorded all this stuff. Gone? No, there was no balance. Even when creating and being so inspired and all that stuff, you have to be aware of when you are externalizing your power. Even externalizing your power to your creative process to the point where you're not eating, sleeping, drinking water. Speaking of which, drink some water. I would as well, but I left my water bottle in the house. Anyways, now that we've done a 4-minute intro without introducing this episode, the last episode that I did was alignment over action. And this is going to be all about how to get into alignment. So let's get into our episode, how to get into alignment. If you guys don't know, I have been recording on and off for this podcast for years. And recently, in the last week, I sat down and was able to record like I've never been able to record before. I told you guys before, it was draining to me to even push myself to do 3 episodes in a week. Draining, absolutely draining. I would have fun in the process. I would feel really good after I finished, but it was not something that was sustainable. And I was scared, oh my gosh, I do love this, but why is it so hard? I know it's not supposed to be this hard. I look on YouTube, I listen to podcasts, and everybody else just seems to have this magical ability to sit down and talk and have a natural flow. Why not me? What's going on? I think that over the last 6 months, I've done a lot of very specific things that I'm going to share with you guys that have allowed me to get into alignment and have allowed me to open up to the flow that has been completely transformative to how I'm able to show up for my podcast. I will probably leave up one video, the video that I think is the best video from my previous episodes because, oh my God, they're so cringy. They're devoid of any kind of inflection in my voice. They're devoid of my personality. I don't know what, like, I was just so like gripping, trying to control everything so much. I literally could not get more than a sentence out at a time. And so, out of embarrassment, I will be archiving those. However, I will leave one just so you guys can go back to reference what I'm talking about, because it was... Anyways, how to get into alignment. First, be present to the good and the bad. And really, I just mean be present, period. And what is presence? Presence is bringing your awareness into the here and now. There is a way to live that means your body is here and your mind is elsewhere. Even if you're just daydreaming, even if you're daydreaming about something so good and you're manifesting and you're visualizing, yeah, that's great to inspire that emotion into you, but you need to ground that emotion into the present moment, you know? And so being present to what it feels like to be a human being. Per usual, I'm going to mention Brianna Weiss' 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. She wrote an essay entitled Why a Soul Wants a Body, or something like that. And basically it came down to the fact that souls cannot feel. They can't feel emotion. They can't feel sensations. Our bodies are energy translating mechanisms. We translate energy into physical sensations. We can see, we can taste, we can touch, we can smell. All of that is just energy that our senses can translate into sensations. And so being present is being so in your body, being in your body when you're laying in bed, noticing what it feels like to lay there, noticing what it feels like for your muscles to relax, notice what it feels like to have the space around you, bringing your awareness into the here and now. And it sounds so easy, but our minds are not very trained to just be here now. I think enlightenment is probably just being present. I know everybody has like their own, I don't know if everybody has their own definition, but I think true enlightenment for me would just mean full, complete, undivided presence to the moment. I'm not living in the future. I'm not living in the past. I'm in the here and now, present for the good and the bad. Anyways, they call it the monkey mind. It's the mind that does as it pleases, wanders where it wills. It doesn't have a master. It is its own master and it does whatever it wants. And you're just in for the ride. You're in for the roller coaster of emotions. You're in for the dives into the pits of hell and like the negativity and the depression. You're in for the ride and it's dragging you along. If you guys haven't watched The Midnight Gospel yet, 10 out of 10, please watch it. It's so cute. There's so many like spiritual concepts that they explain there. And I remember one of the most beautiful quotes that they said in it was, just be here now. And I don't know why that resonated so deeply, but it was like, just be here now. There's so much peace in just being here now. Sit with yourself right now, just in silence, and notice it. You can literally hear the silence when you are here and now. When you are present to the good and bad, you have complete access to the flow, because the flow can only flow into the present moment. That's what the power of now is about. The fact that you can only exact change into your current present moment. And so to live in the past, which is non-existent, or to live in the future, which is also non-existent, and both only existed as the now, it takes you away from your ability to receive all that you need in order to move through life in the way that you would want. All the things that you daydream about and all the things that, you wish you could change, you can, but only here and now. All the planning and prepping and catastrophizing and dreaming that you might do in your mind, none of it is worth anything unless at some point you bring it into this very moment and you act on it in a physical way. I'm going to do my best to not go like super deep into every single one of these. You guys know that I am a yapper to the max. And so if I wanted to, I really could. We're off to a not so great start, but I'm going to, in the places that I can, keep my yapping to a minimum so that this is actually like a list rather than a 2-hour long PowerPoint presentation. Next, the Abraham Hicks Higher Self Audio, and that is not the actual name of it. I will look it up right now. and I will also put it inside of the description of this episode. It is called Abraham Hicks Instantly Activate Your Higher Self Rampage with Music. It's on Spotify. 10 out of 10 recommend. I listen to this audio every single night when I sleep, along with those like frequency, heal your body, whatever hurts, whatever things. I listen to that all night long. And basically, what it does is allows you to tune into your higher self in terms of understanding that even though you are only experiencing your finite perspective of this earth and of this reality, your higher self has a full view of everything that is going on. It knows how to get you from where you are to all of your desires. And she calls it the vortex, where everything lives in its non-physical form. It's like the realm of possibility, where everything and anything can exist as soon as you think of it. And so when we desire something, immediately it's available to us. And your higher self is aware of that. And so your higher self is constantly calling you, and it's like, I know how to get here. Come on, I'm already here. Follow me. And your higher self doesn't feel any urgency, because to your higher self, you already are there. It's not worried about when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. To your higher self, it's already happened. Human beings are bound by time, but your higher self is not. Your higher self is the avatar wearing the VR mask in which your human avatar, is being projected into, this matrix. And so your higher self is fully aware of everything, everywhere, all at once. And when you trust that, when you trust in your well-being and trust in the guidance of your higher self, there's no need to fear. There's no need for a sense of urgency. When we bring that sense of urgency and when we bring that sense of lack, because we don't trust that everything that we desire exists and is calling us towards it, and that it will naturally find its way to us if we are unblocked and in alignment. When we start bringing in that negativity and the anxiety and the urgency and the stress, we place up those blocks that prevent us from moving forwards. And then now you are actually living in this state of lack, and you feel even more urgency. You're like, when am I going to get it? How's it going to happen? And you bring up more lack, and you only are getting in your own way, because everything is always flowing to you already. That is your natural state of being, receiving the flow. She says a lot more than that. It's a 14-minute rampage. It's so good though. It's so beautiful. And another aspect of it that I really love is she talks about how we are supposed to be so excited to go through life. We want to see what's happening. But when we live in that state of fear, we're scared to meet the present moment. It's like, don't go there. Don't do this. What if that? You're missing out on the fun and the joy when you try to hold yourself back and brace yourself for the ride instead of going with the flow. Enjoy it. See what's good. See what you can change. See what you like. See what you don't like, and see how that, pushes you to something that you do like, to find something new. Get excited for the journey. No matter what. Okay. I had to make sure that my camera just didn't immediately die on me and not save what I was saying. 11:11 on the clock. Aw, I don't know if you guys can see that. Anyways, I had to also go charge my other. There we go. 11:11 on the clock. So yeah, she talks about how we're so unwilling to just go with the flow. And she's like, you don't even have a choice. She says something like, when you feel good and you're enjoying life, rendezvous with it. Kind of just dance with it. Go along with it. And she's like, and when things feel bad, rendezvous with it. You don't have a choice. You don't. Life happens. Life happens. And the only thing you can really do is be present for it and go with it. And something about that, I think it just brainwashed me into having peace about wherever I am is fine. Whatever I'm doing, that's enough. I'm here and now. I'm present. My higher self is guiding me. I'm safe. It's safe for me to engage with life, whether it feels good or doesn't feel good. The best thing I can do is just face it. And when things don't feel so good, get out ahead of it in a happier way. Get out ahead of it in a happier way and figure out a way to bring more joy into your life so that you can attract more joy into your life. Next, release attachments by getting present. Attachment lives in the mind. You are incapable of it when being in your body. I did a whole episode on attachment, and the biggest concept was that When you are attached to the outcome, your conscious mind takes over because it wants to be hyper vigilant of the process in order to make sure that everything goes right. However, your conscious mind is not aware of the process. Your subconscious mind is. By the time you're really great at doing something, you're not consciously thinking of the process. You've now reached the autonomous phase, which is when, things just come naturally and they flow and you're really great at what you do. That was what the block was in terms of me podcasting. I was so attached to it being perfect and me sounding perfect and me sounding smart and seeming like I knew what I was talking about that I was freezing up because in my mind, I was so attached to things going perfectly. Whereas now, I'm not thinking about how can I sound great? I'm just talking. I'm a yapper. I'm a natural yapper. I wasn't born talking, but I think I was born to talk. When you release attachment and when you're here now, when you are present within your body, your mind does not have the option to hyper focus on the process. Your awareness is in your body. You're present. You're still. You breathe. You ground yourself. Attachment only exists when you're in your mind. And so releasing attachment by getting present. Attachment lives in the mind and you're incapable of it when being in your body. Next, you want to bring your awareness and focus your awareness on perceiving your physical reality. Be here, ground yourself, breathe, take note of what's happening. Right now, it's hot in my car, but I just opened the windows and there's not even a breeze. It's just cool air slowly filling my car, but only from my backseat window. And I feel like the difference in the atmosphere as this air is starting to circulate. Like how present can you be in your physical body? When you do that and you get out of your mind, you release attachment. And when you release attachment, you realign yourself to flow. And this is all about getting back into realignment. We're not getting back to realignment. That's redundant. Getting back into alignment. Next, taking the concept of getting into your body and being present in your body, present to the sensations that you're experiencing. To take that to the next level is take note of it and bask in it. Get really present to the aspects of it that feel the best. When Abraham Hicks talks about get out ahead of it in a happier way, she's saying, what can you do in this moment to bring more joy into your life, to bring more peace, to bring a sense of security? What can you focus on to get out ahead of your negative situation right now in a happier way so that you're planting the seeds of something positive to come to you? Get out ahead of it in a happier way. When I'm feeling funky, what do? I listen to music and I dance. I do something to get it out and allow things to begin flowing in a more positive way. I read a book. I find a way to distract myself from ruminating over these negative things, spiraling over these negative things. I say, you know what? I'm going to deal with that when I'm in a better headspace. It's not me running away from it. It's just me knowing that I'm not going to accomplish anything in this state of mind. I have blocks up. I'm feeling resistant. I'm resisting what is happening. I'm like, you know what? That's my reality. Let me do something that brings me back into alignment, brings me back into the sensation of I can do it. I can do it. I'm fine. Yes, this kind of sucks a little bit, but I'm feeling good. I just dance a little bit. I'm feeling hot. I'm feeling like that girl. And then I can deal with it. I've gotten out ahead of it in a happier way. And so now when I do go back to this issue or whatever, I come with refreshed energy. I come with a clear mindset and I come feeling capable. When I get through that, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling happy. I did it. I feel accomplished. But it's because I first got out ahead of the negative situation in a happier way. I do not recommend you trying to dissolve all of your limiting beliefs and going through and healing and fixing everything while you are feeling very emotionally charged. Unless you're somebody that is very experienced with dealing and processing your emotions, that can be a bit overwhelming. And sometimes we struggle to get out of the loop instead of, the dirty water coming out and the muck coming out until it's clear. Unless you are very good at that specific process of you are just getting it out to clear the flow, sometimes we get it out and we feed it more. And you're recycling this dirty water, and you're not actually getting anywhere. You're just keeping yourself stuck in a cycle of suffering and a negative mind loop. And so unless you're very good at that, I recommend taking a break, take a pause, Take a nap. We're going to talk about momentum in another episode, and we'll talk about taking a nap and the benefits of taking a nap. Abraham Hicks is huge on naps, and I don't know about you, but I love me a good little nap. And if anybody's going to tell me that I can solve a problem better by sometimes just taking a nap, I will not argue. I will take it as a scientifically backed research that taking a nap is what you need to do to fix all your problems. We'll talk about that in another episode. But yes, when things are going great, be present. Feel the warmth and the sun on your skin. Feel like how good it feels to be surrounded by your friends or to be in the arms of your lover, or I don't know, just like really be in those moments. Be in that, absorb it. And when things are not going so great, be granular about it. Figure out what you can do to either add positivity to the moment or find that little grain, that little pearl within this, shitstorm. Magnify what is positive about the moment. So the next two kind of go in tangent. It says, do not suppress negative emotions. Allow them to flow through you. Face what comes up. It's showing up because it wants your attention in order to be released and corrected. And then the next part of that is release the things that are asking you to let go of them, the things that are causing you pain and suffering. The most common coping mechanism that people have for negative emotions and, negative things that come up, negative thoughts, feelings, beliefs, etc., is suppression. And that is the most harmful thing you can do. Because again, life is meant to be experienced and it's meant to flow to and through you. Anything that you are blocking, you are resisting, whether it's good or bad. You're either resisting the flow of positive things flowing from you and, you're keeping it outside of you, or you're resisting the negative emotions, whatever, from flowing through you. And by keeping it blocked, you're keeping it stuck in your energetic field. It's stuck. And what you want to do is to get away from that pain. And we think that somehow not looking at that and suppressing that is something how going to get rid of it, when you can look back in your past and realize that that's never worked. It's only amplified the problem, and it's only made it harder for you to deal with it when you were forced to deal with it, because now this monster has 20 heads instead of the 5 that it started off with. These negative things, we view them as things that are trying to sabotage us or things that we need to fear, when in reality, they are things that are coming up because they need your attention and awareness in order to be released, because they are here as red waving flags. Have you seen the TikTok of a guy that I think he posts short clips of men doing or saying something, and then he runs down with a huge red flag? That's what your negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions are doing. They are trying to get your attention. I think Dr. Jordan Peterson says this. He talks about why the reason that negative things catch our eye, the reason that we can't look away from a car accident, no matter how gruesome, no matter how whatever, the reason why negativity attracts us is because it has an element of the unknown. And in order to protect ourselves, we need to be able to know what's coming at us. And so when there is an element of the unknown, immediately it catches our attention because we're I need to figure out what's going on. This, I feel safe. Whereas good things, the reason why we so easily just they come and go, and is because they are in the known. We can just relax and let it happen, and it just feels good. But we don't have that sense of alertness of I need to figure out what's going on here. You feel safe. It's the known coming, and you're oh, this is so nice. Whereas the unknown, it's I need to figure that out. What's going on? And so these negative things that come up, they are banking on your natural, inclination, the way you are hardwired to notice negative things and try to kind of figure them out so that you feel safe again. But because we have that fear, instead of facing the unknown and, becoming the master of it, finally having the courage to look under your bed to see what the monster there looks like, to see whether there even is a monster or if it was just in your mind the whole time. Having the trust in the flow of life and in your personal capacity to deal with things to the best of your ability as they come up, so much so that you are willing to face negative things that come up, negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative beliefs. I think a huge reason why we tend to ignore and suppress these things is because we have a fear about what it will mean about you if you acknowledge that. I think our biggest fear is that we're going to look at that and we're going to check all the facts, and it's going to be the facts are going to check out. And you're going to be I am unworthy. And so it's I'd rather just not know. I don't even want to look in that direction, because what if it's true? Let me tell you right now, it's not. The reason why it feels bad to think it is because your subconscious, your higher self is trying to let you know this belief is out of alignment. It is incorrect with what is truly true of you, with who you truly are. Feelings of lack, feelings of unworthiness, feelings of shame, feelings of fear. All of that is your higher self letting you know, hey, you need to look in this because there's a lie in there that is warping your perception of the truth. And the truth is that you are inherently worthy. You are deeply and unconditionally loved. You are deserving of life and a good life. God didn't put you here to suffer. The higher being that, sustains everything didn't put you here just to suffer. Your higher self didn't put you here just to suffer. Yeah, suffering is part of life, and so you will have lessons in which you experience suffering and you bring the lessons out of it. However, you're not here for suffering. You're here to experience both the good and the bad. And everything has the capacity of being transmuted from suffering, from pain, from heartache, from fear, transmuting it to the equal opposite. That is your power because you are the creator. Do not let life define you. You define life. Don't let your problems define you. You define your problems. How are you going to go about dealing with it? How are you going to process it? How are you going to face it? Courageously? Or are you going to run away? Are you going to let your external reality that you created, that you have the power to create? Because sometimes we create it unconsciously. I'm not saying that you need to feel bad if something bad happened in your life. I'm just saying you have the power to transmute that because you are the creator of your reality. You cannot let these things take your power so much so that you are afraid to look them in the eye and be like, you know what? Let me figure out if this is true or not. Let me figure out if this is actually true or not. If it is causing you any kind of negative pain, suffering, heartache, anxiety, fear, all of those things that feel very bad in your body, in your mind, as you're experiencing them, I'm telling you, they are grounded and rooted in something that is not true. And the moment that you can give your mind a different perspective of the situation, a different perspective, even just to say, hey, yes, I'm experiencing lack. That doesn't mean I'm not an abundant person. That means I'm experiencing a moment of lack. And transcending your external reality and saying, yeah, my external reality can be saying X, but I choose to believe Y. Because I create my reality and my external is not going to tell me who I am. I define who I am. That is you taking your power back. I guess another way to look at it is these negative feelings and beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are, source, your higher self's way of telling you, hey, you've given away your power in this area, and nothing outside of you should have your power. Because nothing outside of you is actually real. It's all, one, devoid of inherent meaning, and only takes life and form when it has your awareness, your power flowing to it. And so when you fall into this illusion that that situation somehow has power over you, you've given away your power. And when you don't have power, yeah, you're feeling bad. Yeah, you're feeling like you can't deal with something. Yeah, you're feeling like you should be scared and anxious. Yeah, you're feeling unworthy or overwhelmed. You don't have power over your situation. Who wouldn't feel that way? It's valid, but the premise that it's built on is incorrect. It's built on the lie that you are powerless to change the situation. You're not. You are the most powerful being in your universe, in your universe, as Bashar loves to say. I love it when he says that. Okay, so do not suppress negative emotions. Allow them to flow through you. Face what comes up. It's showing up because it wants your attention in order to be released and corrected. Release the things that are asking you to let go of them, the things that are causing you pain and suffering. Another thing that I want to mention, because I remember that I mentioned it the last 2 times I recorded this episode, is that these negative thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, as much as we are so scared to face them, or negative memories, these are the big ones, negative memories, as much as we are not willing to face them, what we're also not facing and not saving is our inner child. The reason why these situations are still emotionally charged is because a piece of you is stuck reliving that situation, feeling powerless, feeling unloved, feeling unheard, feeling unseen. A piece of you is stuck there. And because a piece of you is stuck there, your power or the sense of lack of power is also stuck in that moment. And so you need to reclaim yourself from that moment. You need to save yourself from that negative memory. Oh, I remember the moment that I kind of like reintegrated one of my younger selves. I think she was like 13, like one of my worst selves. Love her. I'm so grateful to, that she was me and that but she was a mess. She was whatever. I'm grateful to her. I'm not going to talk shit about her. But, some teenagers are a fucking nightmare. And that doesn't mean they're going to be a nightmare forever. But in the moment, it's valid to say that they are a nightmare. They haven't fully figured out the things that you don't mess with reality in this way. You just don't do it. There are serious repercussions, not just for yourself, but for others. They haven't fully learned the concept of, community and, being of service to others and not living so selfishly. And when I say they, I mean me. And so that young version of me is someone that I was like, I refuse to even look at. I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I used to be her. But I was. And it's really, really, really hurtful to that version of you for you to be so embarrassed, so disgusted, so whatever, that you're not even willing to acknowledge them. You're like, I'm not even going to think about her. That's so unfair. That version of you, as horrible and disgusting and embarrassing as she was, is still you. She's still you. She's part of your story. As disgusting as those chapters were, they're in your book. And I remember when I had these two beings meet together, my, teenager self versus who I am today, there was this weird moment of like a lot of mixed emotions where I was experiencing the sense of apologeticness, of a sense of feeling so bad about the fact that I had rejected this version of myself for so long. And also this sense of feeling the emotions of my 13-year-old self, which I also am, feeling this deep sense of gratitude of that version of me, looking at this adult version of me and feeling so much gratitude and awe and just like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe I turned out to be you. Like, you're everything that I dream of and more. And this sense of me feeling so guilty that I'd been like, oh fuck, sorry, I didn't want to look at you. I know you're so young. You were a version of me and you didn't know better. And even if you knew better, you didn't realize like how badly things would turn out if you did that. And so there was like this meeting of those two things where I was like, fuck, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I rejected you. You are a part of me. Come here. I know you were fucking awful, but you're still a part of me. Look how we turned our story around. And that younger version of me being like, oh my God, thank you. I know, now that I know what you know now, I know it was bad. I'm sorry, but thank you for bringing me back. Thank you for accepting me. Thank you for embracing me. These versions of you, mind you, for me, that was one rooted in shame, but there's versions of you that were neglected, versions of you that were abandoned. These versions of you that make you feel like you're incapable of receiving love or unworthy of love, your power and the heartache and the emotional, energetic attachment is still stuck in those moments. So the idea of memory reconsolidation, which I talked about in a previous episode, is the idea of going back into that memory. And mind you, do this with a professional, because this is not something that you should be doing on your own unless you have a lot of practice with it, because it is sometimes hard to get yourself out of the moment, and it is easy to trigger PTSD. And don't do this on your own. Don't do this on your own. I had a spiritual practitioner teach me how to do this, and then I kind of like began doing it on my own, and it became its own process, and now I have my own process of dealing with that. However, the idea of memory reconsolidation is going back into that moment that is emotionally charged, reliving it, telling it over and over and over and over until you can tell it without any emotion. It just was something that happened, versus the first time you tell it, it's like everything that you felt in that moment and all the heartache that has built up in the last, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years of you suppressing it. So going back and reliving or processing that moment with your adult conscious mind in a safe space with somebody, helping you and creating a safe container for you to do this, and, meeting you with presence. You go back and you tell that story over and over and over. What exactly happened, how it made you feel, etc. Because emotions, energy in motion, that is what brings things to life. That's why your affirmations don't start working until you put emotion in them. You have to add energy into them to bring them into your physical reality as a manifestation. And so releasing that, releasing the pent up energy, the pent up hurt that is in that, allows your energy to come back to you. It's no longer trapped in that situation. You let it out. That's how you know something is like fully out of your being or not. Like when you are at peace with what happened. I'm not saying you embrace it. I'm not saying you're okay with it. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying you can accept it as what was, something that happened, a part of your story. When you release that, you reclaim your power. Then you go back into that memory now that it's release of, the negative emotional energy. You go in there and be for your younger self exactly who they needed you to be in that moment. Exactly what they needed. Maybe you needed a hug from an adult, from your parent, from your teacher, whoever. Maybe you wanted to feel included by your friends. You be for your younger self what you needed in that moment. You go in literally into that memory and you be for them what they needed. And I told you guys about the memory that I relived with my spiritual therapist. She's not actually a spiritual therapist, but that's what I call her. But when I consciously relived that memory, my younger self just wanted someone to pick them up. She wanted to feel somebody's heartbeat. She wanted to feel safe, and she wanted to feel remembered. And so I went in as this being of light. I was like this huge, beautiful angel. And I went in and I picked myself up and I held her. I just held her and I just held her. And that's what she needed in the moment. And I recreated that memory for my younger self. I gave it the completion that it needed. And therefore, I gave my mind a different perspective and a different version of that memory that it can now experience as well. Once you have reached your subconscious and you have released the negative emotion and you have given your mind a different perspective, as I learned, you now have 5 hours, a window of 5 hours to go back and keep repeating to yourself the new beliefs that you want to infuse into that moment. In that moment, I created the beliefs that I am forgotten, that I am unworthy of being loved, that the people that I need most will not be there for me. They'll never be there for me when I need them most. I have to deal with everything on my own. That was one of the biggest things that I gathered from that moment as an infant. That was something that I wanted to be released. I ostracized myself from my family my whole life, and I felt like the black sheep, and I felt like no one liked me. And to a degree, that was my very real experience. But on the other side of it, the flip side of it, is that I was ingrained with this belief as an infant, and therefore the coding that my mind was trying to execute was feel alone, feel like the people that you need most are not going to be there for you when you need them, feel like you're forgotten, feel like you're unloved. All of these are very symptomatic of, the middle child syndrome. But I know other middle children that come from, very beautiful, healthy families that do not feel this way. One of the older brothers of the little girl that I used to nanny, he's so independent. He is so independent. He does not need anybody to approve of him. And, he's great with his siblings, but he does his own thing and he's good. He doesn't feel forgotten. He doesn't feel unloved. He's just independent. And when he rejoins the group, he's so loved by everybody. He's just the cutest. He has his own mind. It's the best. And I had that too, but coming from a very negative place, coming from this wounded place of, I don't need you to love me. I felt so unloved that I would rather believe that I don't need you to love me and that I also don't love you in order to stop hurting my own feelings. And so I continue to project that belief into my reality. And so, yeah, I did experience a reality where I felt really alone and really forgotten. And now I am living in a totally different reality. I'm closer to every single member of my family with my own unique individual relationship with each and every one of those. But it started with that inner work, releasing that belief. I did, as much as I would do the work spiritually away from my family, the second I stepped into the house, I would become a different person. I would become who I was when I was younger. It's like something about being in this space triggered that. It was the only version of me that I knew how to be in that environment, that I knew how to be when I was around my family. I felt so on edge. I felt so like, just on edge. I was so ready to be triggered, ready to be irritated, ready to recede. The reality that I'm living in now is so different, like night and day. And it took time. It took time, and the process was very gradual. But this happened in the last like 2 years. And honestly, most recently in the last like 6 to 8 months. Realignment, releasing the negative beliefs that you have, using the memory reconsolidation to give your mind a different perspective, to give yourself new beliefs that you would like to believe because they're in alignment with the reality that you would rather experience. If your thoughts create your reality, which they do, the government has even put out its little CIA papers or whatever, I don't know what it's called, proving that your thoughts influence your reality. Wouldn't it behoove of you, wouldn't it be in your best interest to think, feel, and believe the things that would align you with creating the reality that you would rather experience? Nobody wants to feel alone. Nobody wants to feel abandoned. Nobody wants to feel unloved. Nobody wants to feel forgotten. Nobody wants that. Why? Because we are actually all part of the whole. And to be outside of that is to not be in alignment with your truth, because you are part of the whole. You are unconditionally loved. You are unconditionally supported. Unconditionally in every moment, your higher self is present for it. You're never alone. Your higher self is always, always with you. That's how Abraham Hicks ends her rampage. I actually wanted to share with you guys a little bit of Abraham Hicks's rampage anyway. So I'm going to listen to it, and I'm going to repeat just like the last bit that I just thought was so freaking cute. So she does these like conferences, and she talks for the first like 2 hours. It's like 5 hours long with like some little intermissions. But she does the first 2 hours, she speaks, and the next 2 hours, she answers questions. And this is probably part of the first 2 hours. So she says, and most of the people that listen to Abraham Hicks like are obsessed with her and like have listened to this so many times that we could talk about it as if we were her. So she says, so you've heard this so many times that you could each and every one of you speak it as clearly as Esther is going to translate it for us right now. But you were source energy and still are, but in your physical body, you don't always allow all of the source energy that is you. That's a problem, because when you don't allow it, you feel tension. When you don't allow it, you feel fear. When you don't allow it, you want to argue with others about the right way to live. But when you are in sync with that broader part of you, so that in this now, all of you is here. Now you're clever and you're light and you're flexible and you're healthy. You're well, you're having fun. You are brilliant. You are interfacing. You are we. You find yourself doing this delicious dance with one another. When you are in this now, in sync with who you are. And that really is the only thing that we ever need to talk about. Now am I in sync with who I am or not? And if I'm not, I should take a nap, because I'm not going to fix it with my thoughts. I'm not going to fix it with my demands. I'm not going to fix it by beating up on someone else. And I'm not going to fix it by beating up on me. I cannot control this into being. I can only feel it into being. So everything that you're living all day, every day, now. There's one thing and one thing only that matters. And that is, what is my, your, ours, we, us? What is my relationship with that broader part of me? What is it? What is it? Ease tells the story. Ease says, I'm on it, and we're walking like the mob squad on Main Street. In other words, we're on it. We're on it. We got everything that we need. We can hear the music in the background. We've got it going on. We're ready for whatever it is, and it's going to be a fine day. It's going to be a really fine day. One fine moment after one fine moment, where I just go from wonderful experience to wonderful experience on a myriad of subjects, all kinds of things. I'm just me, and I'm alive, and I'm allowing my inner being to flow through me. My wise, really old, wise, eager about life, inner being flowing through me, and I get the experience of blending with it all. I'm no longer separating myself from the whole of who I am. I'm allowing the whole of who I am to flow through me, and here and now. I don't even need words. I can just stand in the beingness. I can turn my face to the sun. I can see colors and depths and breadths of things that I've never seen or known before. It's just It's me moving through this world alive, intoxicated with life, and so glad to be here and so worthy of all this good stuff that's going to me and through me right now. And you're beautiful, and you're beautiful, and you're beautiful, and that's beautiful, and here's $100, and you're beautiful, and you're beautiful, and I'm in love with life, and thank you for that. I'm eating this cookie, this great big old beautiful cookie. Life is good when you allow your inner being to walk and roam the earth with you, you see. And we always are. We always are. We are always, always with you. Oh my gosh. Isn't that so beautiful? Life is so beautiful and wonderful and flows effortlessly, and you are in perfect alignment when you allow your inner being, your higher self source to flow through you, in and through you. And it always is. It always, always is with you. It's about getting into alignment to receive that. You can't receive that ever-present eternal flow if you are blocking yourself from receiving it. That is the value and the importance of getting into alignment. That spout, that flow is ever flowing, abundant, never ceases. It's about whether your cup is underneath it in alignment with what is pouring through so that you can receive it. Next, leave the future to the future and have as much fun as you can in the present moment. And we talked about this a little bit in terms of being present, but specifically about leaving the future to the future. There are so many things that we try to get out ahead of. And Brianna Weiss says, you're not getting out ahead of fear. You're not beating pain to the finish line. You are actively pursuing more and more of it. Something like that. Leave the future to the future. Trust that the future version of you is going to deal with it to the best of its capacity, just like you're trusting the present version of you to deal with and come up and try and figure out the 10 possible things that could go wrong. That version of you that actually has all of the data about what is currently happening and what the problem I need to focus on at hand is. That version of you can do it even better. Trust that version of you. Be present here and now. Trust that version of you. Be here now and get out ahead of it in a happier way. How? By trusting. By trusting and knowing everything's going to work out even better than I expected. And even if it doesn't, I'm going to show up as the best version of myself because that version of myself will be in alignment and will not be resisting the flow that can flow through me to make me the best version of myself to deal with that. Trust in the benevolence of life. Everything is always working out for me. That's another thing that I gathered from the Abraham Hicks Rampage. The reason that we feel so much fear and we feel so much hesitation about facing things is because we don't actually believe that we are supported, that we are sustained, that we live in a loving universe. But when you do, when you connect with that knowingness, you can't face life with fear. You just can't, because you know that you're supported. You know that source is going to show up for you. You know that when you get there, you'll be able to deal with it. You know all of these things. Trust that even if it doesn't go the way that you expected, the way that you hoped, everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Do you think I was excited about the fact that I had to record this episode 3 times? No, not at all. This last time, I finally broke down and cried. I was so sad. Because the first time, phenomenal. The second time, it was okay. I was a little tired. It was nighttime. It was my second time redoing it. The third time, the other day, I was like, I can't. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. And my friend was like, it's okay. I know this sucks. I'm sorry. You can be sad about it, but we've done something to fix this and to not have this be a problem again. It's okay. And a piece of me was like, I'm not going to record it again. Just not going to record it again. Because I didn't get my way. Because I tried re-recording it several times and it got deleted every single time. It wasn't fun. Yeah, it sucked. But everything is always working out. Always working out. And we talked about whether things are redirection or just blocks that are kind of preventing you from moving forwards. And a piece of me was like, this is a redirection, but I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't because I very much still had the capacity to sit down and record one more time. I knew it wasn't redirection. I knew it was just something that was holding me back because for me, I was putting all of my power into the idea that I had to prove to someone that I could record more than 1 video per day. I reclaimed my power. I learned about how to deal with my camera. I now turn it off before it dies. So I'm not dealing with the natural repercussion of my actions. Because that was the other thing. When I talked to him the first time, he's like, dang, like if you had been just recording the audio, at least we could have saved the audio. And I was like, you're so right. I'm going to do that next time. Next time I recorded, I did not do that. And therefore I lost all of it, including the audio. Natural repercussions to my own actions. Not punishment, just What happens when you don't press record on your audio? You don't have the audio if your video fails. Everything is working out. And now, as I'm talking, as I'm sharing, I love the way this episode has turned out. I love it. Do I like it more than the first one? I think so, honestly. Like, there's more peace in my spirit right now as I'm recording. And I feel like that energy translates and flows. I was super excited that first time that I recorded because I was like, I'm recording 2 minutes in a day. I'm recording 2 minutes in a day. But there was a lot more ego in that. And even if it did resonate, because the things that I said were very valid and very true, the underlying energy within it wasn't as pure as what I feel now. Trust the benevolence of life. Everything is always working out for me, even if it doesn't show up in the way that I thought would be best. Everything is always working out for me. That's you getting ahead of it in a happier way. Telling yourself, everything is always working out for me. I know this isn't going the way I thought it would. But one, I know that I can deal with it. I know that I can process it. And two, I know that this is going to lead me to the next here and now. And somehow that's going to be the best thing possible for me. And even if I still don't perceive that to be the best thing possible, I'll have learned something that was so crucial and vital and important to my personal growth, whether it's learning what not to do, whether it's meeting someone that can take me on a step further. Everything is always working out for you. That whole lucky girl syndrome, it works because your reality is created by your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And when you believe yourself to be lucky, your mind has to prove that to you. And so it begins looking for places in which it can execute that code. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. Your subconscious mind is capable of absorbing so many more things than you are. I think it says, and I mentioned this in the last episode and I butchered the numbers, but I think it's your mind, your subconscious mind is capable of absorbing 11 million bits of information at a time, and your conscious mind can absorb 40 to 50 at a time, 40 to 50 bits of information at a time. So when you feel like you're lacking something in your reality, trust me, you're not lacking anything. Your mind, your conscious mind, is just not attuned to be able to see everything that is already there. 40 to 50 bits of information out of 11 million? Trust me, that thing that you want so bad, the way to get there, the way to bring it into your reality is out there. It's out there right now in this very instant. But your 40 to 50 bits, your conscious mind, is only looking for the things that your beliefs and limiting beliefs are allowing you to see in order to execute the code that is implanted in you, hardwired in you. When you expand your awareness, which is what spirituality is all about, expanding your awareness, you allow your awareness to shift to the things that you do desire to see. I don't know if you've heard of the research study where people were asked to go through a newspaper or something, or some sort of booklet, and look for how many times a certain word came up. And people that considered themselves to be lucky on like page 2 saw a thing that said, the answer is 27, stop reading, versus the people that considered themselves unlucky read the entire thing and missed that. Why? Their mind was not attuned to the opportunity available to them to prove to themselves, I'm so lucky. I see the things that will allow me to have an easier path to the things that I'm desiring. 11 million out of 40 to 50 bits. Trust me, it's out there. Your $1 million idea, it's there. It's you getting in tune with the idea that I am capable of seeing, perceiving, and receiving $1 million idea. I can do that. Next, get out of your head and into your body. Exercise. For me, it's dance. 10 out of 10, I recommend yoga. At least when I was doing yoga, I could not, for the life of me, think about anything other than the here and now. Here and now, here and now. It was so demanding of my body, of my presence, in order to balance, in order to learn the moves, in order to flow, in order to breathe. It required complete and utter presence in my body, and it got me moving. It got stagnant energy flowing. I don't know if this is specific to women, but I'm just going to say women store a lot of trauma in their hips, and a good way to release that blocked energy is by moving your hips. Dancing. It releases stuck energy. I don't know how true this is, but my personal opinion about dancers is that the reason why they age more gracefully, and trust me, they age more gracefully. I've seen, and not to like put down white people, but they do tend to age more quickly than people of color. I've seen a plethora of white women at the club that looked 10 to 12 years younger than they actually were. Their face, their body, their skin. Black women, same thing. I'm always shocked when I find out some of these girls are in like their mid-30s. I'm like, you are? I thought you were like 24. You've been dancing for 10 years? Really? You look incredible. One, I think it's because taking care of yourself becomes part of your job and you take pride in yourself. And so you do more for yourself. You get yourself ready. You feel good. You look good. But also dancing. You're physically active. You're very physically active. Consistently physically active. It moves energy around. You get to release things. I do not recommend anyone going into this in pursuit of that. There's a lot of other ways that you can find that and recreate that experience in your life. But yeah, moving around, I think it helps you to age more gracefully. And whatever you reap in your body right now while you are young and still capable, you will sow 40 years from now. It's hard for us to think about that when we're young because all we've ever known is being young. But I'm 28 and my knees have started to hurt. My knees have started to hurt. I see people in their 60s and 70s in my yoga class that are flexible. Flexible, they're keeping up with the class, they're not breaking a sweat. They can do way more than I can do. How? Why? They've invested that time in their bodies years in advance, well before their body was at a stage where it's hard to bend down, hard to touch your toes. You reap what you sow. I honestly believe, and I've thought about this a lot, that the main reason why I suffered so much as an adult was because the concept of a future, it wasn't real for me as a child. Like the idea that someday I would be 20, 25, 28 just was not real for me. And it still is hard for me to like fully grasp that one day I might be in my mid 50s. However, I am now very conscious of what it looked like to reap the not so benefits, the repercussions of what I sowed when I was younger. And so even if I don't fully understand the concept, I know that just doing the best for myself right now will also have positive benefits to my future self because my future self is comprised of all of my past selves and all of my past decisions. Not that your decisions define you or anything, but there are natural, repercussions to all of your actions, good or bad. I already put exercise, but spend time in nature. It literally absorbs negative energy and it leaves you feeling lighter. I went through the worst depression of my life last year, and that is saying a lot. That's saying a lot. And I remember one of the biggest things that not changed the way I felt, but gave me like deep relief anytime I did it was going on a walk outside, like a really long walk outside around trees and nature, and there's a lake and it's just so beautiful. And I just knew with every fiber of my being that the trees were like absorbing my negative energy and that the ground was absorbing my negative energy and being like, here, fresh start. Breathe in, take in the moment, receive what we naturally give out, which is perfect alignment. And it was so funny. I would need to keep walking. Like I would walk and walk and walk, and my body wanted to walk. And by the time that I was like, okay, like I'm tired, my mind was clear. I felt so much better. Everything had been released. It was just so healing, so healing. This idea of touch grass, like we use it kind of as a girl, you need to ground yourself. Like, please be so for real. Please be so for real. Like, you're no longer with us. I need you to touch grass. Get out from behind your computer and literally go touch grass. You are so in your head, like, go touch grass. Like, we say that jokingly, but it actually is so beneficial to you. Something about the ions, I don't know. And walking by the beach and the negative ions that come, the cloud of negative ions that come about when the ocean crashes to the sand. I don't know the science of it. I don't even know the full process, but it recalibrates you. It recalibrates your cells, your ions. I'm just saying science words. And I know they correspond to what I'm talking about. I just don't know how. Anyways, it grounds you. Those grounding mats. I remember one of us got it for Christmas. I think my mom got it for Christmas. And someone was like, yeah, like it works so well. It grounds you. And then we came to the realization that this grounding mat that we paid for, basically capitalism's way of selling you the exact same thing that it is for you to walk on grass barefoot. A grounding mat does the same thing for you that the free grass that is grown by the sun and the rain will give you. Touch grass, lay on it, walk on it, just put your bare feet in it. Sometimes I'll come out and journal outside and I'll just take off my Crocs and just touch grass. Touch grass. Get back into nature. That is our natural habitat. That is the environment that we will naturally thrive in because we are part of creation. Nature, the outside, all that, we are part of that. We consider ourselves to be separate. It's part of the illusion of separateness, but we are one, not just with everybody else, but with the world. We are part of it. We get free will. We have the option to not serve each other. But nature is in perfect alignment and is constantly giving and receiving, and the symbiosis and the symbiotic relationships, like we could be part of that. You know how they say like you are the combination of the 5 people that you spend the most time with? Make one of those people nature. You need that. I need that. You need that sunshine. You need the fresh air. You need just the wonderful energy that trees have. You need those little bits of like magic when a butterfly flies next to you and the sun is shining. There's all these cute little lizards everywhere. And this tree just bloomed. This tree that, looked dead last week is now blossoming. And when I was walking at Choya's, there was, during the time of like pollen season or whatever, these huge clouds of like, I don't know what they were. They kind of look like dandelion seeds, but they would fly and, they were not great to like walk through, but it looked so beautiful, just like scattered in the air. It was like snow during summer. It was so beautiful. It fills you with appreciation. It allows you to feel small in the best way possible. It makes your problems seem small in the best way possible. Get out, touch grass. If I ever make merch, it's going to say touch grass and take a nap. Take a nap and touch grass. That's the motto here. We take naps and we touch grass. Next, meditate to teach yourself to notice your negative thoughts. I did a whole episode about this. Not a whole episode, but when I was talking about presence and getting into presence, I mentioned meditation. Meditation gives you the ability and the opportunity to clear your mind and therefore slow down the momentum of negative thoughts, whatever has built up during the day. But also, meditation, a meditative practice, is practice for the real world. A meditative practice is literally you practicing becoming aware that you are the awareness and that you are not your thoughts. Noticing when your thoughts have taken control of your consciousness and are dragging you along for the ride and doing their own thing and whatever. Your mind is a tool. You are meant to use your mind. Your mind is not meant to use you. And meditation allows you to become aware of when your mind is using you, when you are no longer in control of your mind and your mind is in control of you. Why? Because you just go with whatever thought and you believe with whatever thought and you're lost in thought. You're worried about the future, which does not exist. You're stressed about the past, which you can no longer change. The point of meditation is to practice noticing more and more often when you've been carried away by your thought, by your stream of thought, and being like, oh, let me get out of the water. Like, it's okay for me to notice these thoughts and be aware or amused or curious about these thoughts that I'm having, but I'm no longer identifying with them. I think, therefore I am is an antiquated saying. We don't believe that anymore. I think because it's a natural mechanism of the mind. Our brains think, our minds think. It's just a natural process of the tool. Its job is to think. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind your thoughts. So practice becoming aware so that when things are going on and you are spiraling, you have built this mechanism. You have this automatic thing that causes you to wake up and be like, oh, wait. I don't have to do that right now. I don't have to think that right now. I don't have to be, lost and drowning in this spiral of negativity, this negative feedback loop. I don't have to be there. I can choose to be here now, focus on my surroundings, find the good in it, get out ahead of it in a happier way, choose to think something different, take a nap, distract myself with something positive, I have the choice and the ability to do that because I am the being in charge. I am the awareness, the consciousness in charge of my mind. And when you do that, you get present. You release your attachment to the way things are supposed to be. You release the blockages that you were putting up by stressing, worrying, feeling a sense of urgency and lack, and that you have to do more. You let that resistance go. And therefore you are back in alignment to allow things to flow. And lastly, I know this has been very long. Consciously choose trust over doubt and fear about the future when it arises. Get present. I've said this 3 different ways in this episode. Get present. Be in the here and now. As the person in charge of your mind, as the consciousness, the awareness behind the mechanism of your ability to think. The same aspect of you that lives in your mind and worries and catastrophizes and, projects and all of this stuff, that same mind is capable of doing the opposite. It's a choice. You don't have to think those negative things. And it's in your best interest to not think those negative things. Choose trust. Choose trust because it minimizes the suffering in the current moment. You're laying in your bed catastrophizing. Minimizing the suffering in your present moment means getting present, feeling the warmth and the of your bed sinking in it, and let go of this unnecessary negativity that you're bringing into the moment. Choose to trust in the benevolence of the universe. Choose to trust in the flow. Choose to trust that your future self will deal with things to the best of its ability. Trust. Choose to trust that where you are is enough because you are enough. Choose to trust because you define your reality rather than the other way around. When you trust, your reality must prove to you that you were correct in trusting. You're now attuning your 40, 50 bits of ability to pay attention and to absorb onto things that prove to you that trusting is the best way to go. I was talking to Source about, creating and recording, and I was like, it would be pretty nice to have a list of about 10 things that I want to talk about in the next week instead of, getting them like one by one or like a couple at a time. It gives me the opportunity to worry when they are coming like day by day or, small chunks at a time. I would personally like to have a list that I can just go through. But I think the main thing that I'm being taught right now is to trust. Trust that even if the morning of, I have no idea what I'm going to record, by the time it comes down for me to sit and record, the idea will be there, the words will come, everything will be fine, things will flow, Source will speak through me, it will resonate with my audience. Do I think that by the time that is just my natural way of being, that's what I just expect, it's my natural belief in how things will work out? Yes, I think I will be gifted several ideas at a time and just like I'll be gifted a full year's worth of content. But I think right now, the point of my experience is to trust that. Trust the here and now. My camera is lovingly and kindly letting me know that I have 3 minutes to wrap it up. Therefore, I will. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope that you can take one or all of these ideas of how to get into alignment. It served me so well. I am living my dream reality in terms of the way I'm experiencing it in a way that I didn't even know was possible. And I want that for you too. Anyways, that is the end of this episode. I love you so much. I believe in you. Your higher self believes in you. Now it's just time for you to start believing with you. I will see you in my next episode. I love you. Bye.